And the guy said, plutonium. No, I'm sorry, but maybe if you reach my friend, he will be able to help you.
So it is already chain reaction.
Exactly. It was a chain reaction. Glass got broken. The person was washing the glass, and the glass just broke.
Hello, dear friends, homeopaths. This is Homeo Sapiens. My name is Barbara Liberowicz, and my guest today is Didier Lustig, a homeopath and astrologer. He is also the author of the book of the remedies described in chemistry as actinides. Today we met to discuss remedy, as you said, the most representative for the whole series.
This is plutonium. Plutonium is the most representative element of the series. Plutonium is the element 94. It, of course, belongs to the actinide series. It's situated so on row 7, and the stage is 8. So it's between Neptunium, stage 7, and Americium, stage 9. But I would say plutonium is probably the most characteristic element of the 7th row.
I was not aware that there was a difference between atomic bomb between Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
The difference is in the quality of the nuclear energy produced by two different atoms. If you put plutonium in a certain shape and in a certain quantity, and you launch neutrons, the neutrons will hit the core of plutonium-239. The core of one atom will open and will launch two different neutrons, which in turn will hit two different atomic cores, etc. And everything is produced in a less than 1 second.
You know, just on occasion, I have recently visited Nagasaki.
Oh yeah.
And I visited Atomic Bomb Museum, and it is really impressive. You know, it changed me. I couldn't sleep for this is so terrible. And you know why I'm saying this, because you know what happened in Nagasaki was also the threshold of death.
Exactly. And that the main feature for plutonium. Yeah.
For instance, I remember there were statements by those who survived this explosion.
Yeah.
And at that time they were children, and I remember the one boy said, "My mother turned into ash on my eyes."
Yeah, this is
The problem was they didn't know what happened. They didn't know, because now we know what is atomic bomb, but at that time they didn't know what happened, and they thought it is the end of the world. And also the river was full of bodies. There was no water. You know, there is very special atmosphere. There is special energy. People are serious. People are focused. People are modest there.
Yeah, and this is the very spirit of this remedy.
Tell me how it was produced homeopathically.
The idea of making a remedy from plutonium came suddenly when I woke up in July 1992, the day I intended to go to holiday with my girlfriend. I was convinced that plutonium was the homeopathic remedy for AIDS.
Ah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the reason. Because there is a link, very strong link between plutonium and Pluto that you can imagine, because it's the same word, you know. Plutonium comes from the planet Pluto. And Pluto entered Scorpio in 1984. At that period, AIDS started to spread. It was the first time Pluto entered Scorpio since its discovery. I went to the psychoanalyst twice a month. But instead of speaking of my mom or my dad or whoever, I spoke about plutonium to my psychoanalyst, and he was tired with me, because it was not psychoanalysis. It was just about homeopathy, plutonium, and astrology, etc. And one day he told me, I have made something which is not usual for an analyst. I spoke about your project to one of my patients who is a medical doctor. He's a homeopath, a pediatrician. He belongs to a homeopathic school, and I thought he would be interested in your project. So I gave him your phone number. A couple of days later, I had a call. I answered, and the guy said, plutonium. It was a secret code. They said, oh, okay, very interesting, but how to find plutonium? So I had no answer. But in the assembly, there was a pharmacist, a woman, and she went to me after the session, and she said, oh, your project is very interesting. I'm particularly interested because my daughter is HIV positive. I have a friend who is a pharmacist at an atomic plant. I will call him. One day she invited me for this call to her friend. The guy said, of course, I don't know how to get your plutonium strain, but I have a friend who works in another power plant. Maybe you will have more information. And she gave me the phone number. I got back home to 60 kilometers. I called the guy. The guy said, oh, I'm sorry, I can't help you. But here's another number of someone I know. You come from me, and maybe he will be able to help you. I called the guy, and the guy said, oh, I'm sorry, no, I cannot help you. But I know someone else who maybe will help you, and gives me another number, okay? Mm-hmm. And then I called the guy, and the guy said, no, I'm sorry, but maybe if you reach my friend, he will be able to help you.
So it is already chain reaction.
Exactly. It was a chain reaction. And the last guy said, yes, I have it. I have what you want. Contacting a pharmacist who was working for a company. It was not Boiron, it was not another one, Dolizos. And, yeah, and we made the first potency out of the strain I had received. They gave the remedy to patients with AIDS. And the thing was, it worked wonderfully. But the effect didn't last. 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, but then no more. So I was very upset. As
far as I can remember, in the end, there was another remedy that was proven effective in AIDS.
It's californium.
Californium. Was there any proving of plutonium you know of?
Yeah, of course. Jean Michel made a wonderful and very thorough proving of plutonium in 1995. It's called The Homeopathic Proving of Plutonium Nitricum. The book was published in 1999, but the proving was made in 1995.
So what are the main proving symptoms of plutonium?
It's like having an extreme pressure inside the body or inside the brain, an extreme pressure, a huge weight on the shoulders, unbearable suffering because the pressure is so big. So people are extremely tired, no energy at all. It's like the moment of the passage, but the person is stuck in the passage. It's exactly like a birth being stuck, in the mother's womb instead of getting out. But here it's getting stuck in the tunnel, which leads to the other world. No light, total darkness, total solitude, total despair. It's a remedy extremely interesting for depressive persons. The energy of anger and violence is held back, contained, prevented to the last limit, because it is aware of the consequences of its release. Then there is explosion, which can manifest itself in the desire to kill, to stab, to scream. There is a will to destroy any form of authority or power that may have harmed or committed injustice in the past. It is also the release of archaic impulses in a frenetic, outrageous, unbridled sexuality. But this violence can be physical, can be sexual, can be against people, can be turned to the patient himself. There are many varieties, but the common phenomenon is always the same. It's an extreme power that tries to express. It is huge, and when it is withheld, it is with an extreme suffering because of the pressure,
What are the main clinical indications for plutonium?
The mental level, extreme depression, deep depression. The remedy has helped many people. Extreme violence also in children.
It is energy of Pluto, or Scorpio, which is energy of sex and death.
Yeah.
So you said it might be violence, might be sexual violence.
In my book, I have a wonderful case made given by a friend of mine, which is about noun. A noun. Yeah. A woman who used to live in a convent. Okay. And she was terribly harassed by her sexual urges. She had a lover who was a very old priest. She had also an affair with another nun, but always with an extreme passion and sexual pulsions, kind of violence, and the remedy cured her. Definitely, it's a miracle.
Did she leave the convent?
No, this convent, yes, but she kept her religious life. It's not all about destruction or violence. We have other themes like desire for raw meat.
Oh.
Yeah, even in vegetarians, desire for blood, drinking blood.
You mean the provings, from the provings?
From the provings and in clinical cases, the provers witnessed this phenomenon is broken glass. Broken glass. The glass got broken. The person was washing the glass, and the glass just broke in her hands. It was a woman. And this happened many, many times. Broken glass. Many accidents, car accidents, even domestic accidents. A stone fell from the roof.
Yeah, but you know, if you have an explosion, you have broken glass.
Out of body experiences. And this is, of course, related to death, you know? But remaining alive.
You know, when we are talking about this like extreme situations, I cannot help reflection that we are living in the times when we have a feeling that we are on the edge of something, that people maybe deny it, but there are so many tensions and so many conflicts and so many just about happening disasters or impending disasters. Perhaps it corresponds to the times we are living.
Exactly. You have described very precisely, very accurately what is going on in our world. So it's a transformation process for the whole humanity and maybe for our planet. It's a transformation process of humanity that can be absolutely compared to the transformation process of one atom into another one. And this is particularly the case for actinides. So we can say actinides are the image of humanity, and particularly plutonium, which is the most representative of the actinide elements, because we have the secret of death and life in this remedy.